Welcome back to EtherLink AI Insights. I'm Alex, and today we're diving into something pretty unconventional, an AI retreat in Finland's wilderness. Our co-host Sam is here, and Sam, when I first heard about this concept, I thought, wait, you're taking executives to a forest to learn about AI? But there's actually some serious strategy behind it.
Right, and that's exactly why it caught my attention too. The core insight here is that traditional AI training, your typical classroom seminars, just isn't working for senior leaders. McKinsey found that 55% of companies have adopted AI in at least one function, but only 8% are actually seeing real ROI beyond cost-cutting. That's a massive implementation gap.
So the retreat addresses that gap. But I'm curious, how does going to Finland specifically solve a leadership and implementation problem? Is it just the novelty factor? Or is there actual science here?
It's definitely not novelty. There's research showing that 5 or more days in pristine natural environments increases creative problem-solving by 47% and cuts executive burnout markers by 62%. Finnish Lapland adds another layer. You've got 24-hour daylight during summer, which enhances cognitive processing, plus the circadian rhythm reset that comes from the Nordic photo period. It's almost like the environment is hacking your brain to think differently.
That's fascinating. So you're not just removing distractions, you're actively changing how the brain processes information. And I imagine that's when the actual learning happens. Tell us about what people are actually building during this retreat.
This is where it gets really practical. Over 7 days, participants are paired with personal AI mentors, industry-specific experts, and they build functional AI agents from scratch. We're talking sales co-pilots that qualify leads, customer support chatbots trained on proprietary company data, that kind of thing. It's not theoretical anymore. You're building something your organization can deploy when you leave.
So by day 3 or 4, you're actually coding, or is it no-code tools they're using?
They use both. AetherTravel offers no-code and low-code frameworks, so you don't need to be a developer to participate. But the beauty of this approach is that executives finally understand what's actually possible versus what's hype. You're not sitting in a room hearing about AI. You're making decisions about AI because you've built it yourself.
That hands-on piece is crucial, especially given what you mentioned earlier. 73% of C-suite executives admit they don't really understand AI capabilities and limitations in their own organizations. They're flying blind, essentially.
Completely blind. And here's the thing. That knowledge gap directly translates to bad strategy and misaligned teams. Traditional training tries to fix it with case studies and presentations, but that doesn't stick. This approach embodies the learning. You build an agent, then you literally walk through a national park thinking about how it applies to your business. That integration is what changes behavior.
I want to dig into the structure a bit. You mentioned it's a 7-day program. Walk us through the arc. What does day 1 look like versus day 6?
Days 1 and 2 are foundational. You arrive in Kuusamo, meet your personal mentor, define your AI vision statement, which is critical because most executives haven't actually articulated what AI success looks like for them. You also audit where your organization sits in terms of AI maturity. It's personalized from hour 1, not a one-size-fits-all curriculum.
And then?
Days 3 through 4 are the hands-on build phase. Small groups, max 8 people, so everyone gets genuine mentorship. By day 5, you're integrating what you've built into your broader strategy, working through implementation scenarios specific to your industry. And the final days are about team alignment and 90-day planning. You leave with not just a prototype, but a roadmap to operationalize it.
That's pretty structured for something happening in the wilderness. I'm imagining, are there daily stand-ups? How much time are people actually outdoors versus in workshops?
That's the brilliant part. It's integrated. Yes, you have workshop time, but you're also doing leadership walks through national parks while discussing strategic implications of what you've built. It's not like you build an agent in the morning and then go for a nature break. The nature is part of the cognitive reset, the thinking process. Digital minimalism is intentional too. Low connectivity zones that force real conversation and presence.
That actually addresses something people struggle with in regular corporate training. It's hard to focus when you're checking Slack and email every 30 seconds. By removing that entirely, you're creating mental space that just doesn't exist in normal work.
Exactly. And that space is where transformation happens. You're not just acquiring information, you're becoming an AI-literate leader. That's the difference. By the end, participants are positioned as AI lead architects within their organizations. They actually understand the technology, they've built something, and they've thought through implementation rigorously.
What kind of organizations or roles would benefit most from this? Is it just for tech companies, or is it broader?
It's broader than you might think. The retreat is industry agnostic because the AI mentor model pairs you with someone who understands your sector. Finance needs AI differently than healthcare or manufacturing. The curriculum adapts, but realistically, it's for C-suite and senior leaders who control strategy budgets and need to make critical decisions about AI investments in the next 18 months.
And they probably don't have time to spend 7 days in Finland if they're not going to see ROI. What does success look like when they return to their organizations?
The program builds in accountability. You establish baseline metrics on day one and create a 90-day execution plan before you leave. It's not vague. It's specific to your business, measurable, and tied to actual implementation. Some participants return and launch their first AI agent in customer support within 60 days. Others restructure their entire digital strategy around AI capabilities they now understand. The ROI is built into the design.
That makes sense. And I imagine coming back as a leader who's actually built an AI agent. You have credibility with your teams in a way you wouldn't if you just read a report.
Absolutely. You can speak to the actual challenges, the possibilities, the implementation timeline. You're not relying on consultants to translate anymore. You're a credible voice in the room. That changes how your organization approaches AI adoption.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room: cost and logistics. Flying to Finnish Lapland for a week is not a small commitment, even for executives. Is this for enterprise-scale companies only?
That's a fair question. The retreat is positioned for senior leaders, but the cost is offset by the fact that you're addressing the 55% adoption problem. If your company is one of the 92% not seeing real ROI from AI investments, this is an investment in fixing that. One executive realigning strategy can move millions of dollars in spending decisions. The math works, especially when you consider that traditional consulting or training would cost similar amounts without the depth of learning.
Plus, there's the team reset element you mentioned. Is that something the retreat specifically facilitates, or is it a side effect?
It's intentional. Part of the program involves team dynamics work. Executives are reflecting on leadership style, communication, and how to foster innovation within their organizations. The nature-based setting creates psychological safety that typical corporate settings don't. People are more honest, more vulnerable, more willing to challenge assumptions. That carries back to your team.
So it's not just about learning AI, it's about leadership transformation?
It's primarily about leadership transformation through the lens of AI. The wilderness is the catalyst, the AI agent building is the methodology, and the outcome is a leader who can authentically drive AI adoption in their organization. That's the real value.
I think that's a great frame. For listeners who want to dig deeper into this, the curriculum details, logistics, how to apply, the full article is on etherlink.ai. We'll link it in the show notes. Sam, any final thought on whether this is a trend we'll see more of?
I think you'll absolutely see more immersive, experiential leadership development, especially in AI. The classroom model is clearly failing for this audience. What AetherTravel is doing is proving that you can combine rigorous technical skill building with personal transformation in a non-corporate setting. Expect that model to expand to other high-stakes domains soon.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks to everyone listening to EtherLink AI Insights. We'll be back next week with more on AI strategy, implementation, and the future of work. For now, check out the full article on etherlink.ai. You'll find the retreat details there. See you next time.